Hello, hello, hello. All right, cool. Um, so right here, um, right here we have a couple of ads that are rejected. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to see what I can do to, like, what are some tips and tricks? Because I don't know how to get really past this. So actually, I'm gonna watch on here. Um,
stop getting your Facebook ads rejected. I'm also going to tell you why this happens so that you can be aware. Now, if you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe, rate, share, leave us a comment, like it. Let's talk about Facebook ads rejection. I need to make a caveat here, okay? Number one, you need to be promoting something that's legal or something that is not banned or restricted on Facebook.
I'm promoting something
If
legal.
you're promoting anything that's banned or restricted, you need to exit this video right now with Facebook. But for some reason, they're getting their Facebook ads rejected. All right, let's talk about why Facebook ads platform. Now, listen, there are millions upon millions of advertisers every single California to manage their stuff. And that's exactly why Facebook sometimes makes mistakes. Now, this is not only related to Facebook, like any advertising platform uses these methodologies, and any advertising platform could make mistakes when it comes to understanding if your ads are compliant or not. Now, Facebook just so happens that they have their AI turned a little bit too high for my taste, but still, you can get this type of things reversed and even cast away. So the main point is to understand that usually it's AI related, it's an AI glitch, it's just Facebook being Facebook, that's the way we see it. And the main important thing is to not get frustrated. I know it can be frustrating, but we've been hit with pretty much any type of ban and shutdown that you can think of over the past 7-8 years of running Facebook ads, but we always develop a process to avoid this from happening. If you want to learn more about our processes, go to scaleultimate.com. We're taking clients, we're taking students as well, so that we can share with you what our main processes are. But today I want to share with you 2 ways that you can actually reverse and even stop your ads from being rejected. Now, the first thing that you need to consider is what Facebook pays attention to when it comes to an ad. Facebook pays attention to 2 main things. Number one is the ad itself. What you're saying in the ad, what you're saying in the video, what you're portraying in the ads, what type of images you're running. So the ad itself. And then the second thing, which a lot of advertisers forget about, is their landing page. They actually pay attention to where you're sending your ads to, your landing pages, what's the content of your landing pages and whatnot. Now, with that being said, once you have an opt-in, once you have a paywall, once you have anything that you need to input like a name, email, phone number, after that point, Facebook doesn't care anymore. Okay, so what Facebook pays attention to is number one, your ad, and number two, your landing page. So what do you do if you keep on getting your ads rejected? Well, the fastest and easiest way to do is to change your copy. Change the copy on your ads. That's the number one thing that I always do. Make it lighter, make it shorter. Sometimes a long form copy might get you triggered. Make it shorter, make it lighter. Just remove any claims, remove any, before and after, remove any results. Just make sure that your ads are simple, couple lines, and that's it. Like, make your copy shorter, and that usually gets things turned around. The second thing that you can try is to change your images. Sometimes, for some reason, Facebook doesn't like the images or the videos. Like, if you're saying something on the video, Facebook can actually transcribe that video, and they run it against their policy. So if you're saying something on the video that sounds off, maybe you have a claim, maybe you have a before and after, maybe you're asking too personal questions, just take those things out of your video. So the first thing that you always want to take a look at are your ads themselves. Now, with that being said, there's also another caveat that I want to make, is that just because your ad got approved in the past doesn't mean that your ad will get approved.
Bro, what's going on here?
In the future or right now. So if you try to relaunch ads that have been approved, they might take another look at the ad they might decide that it's not fit. So don't get frustrated. That happens a lot. In fact, it might happen with all ads, right? That they're off for a couple years and Facebook decides to take another look. That is something that they do from time to time and they get rejected. Don't worry about it. That's sometimes what Facebook does. Just change the copy and you will be well on your way. And number two, the second thing that you want to pay attention to is your landing page. Change the copy on your landing pages. Sometimes changing even the design of the landing page can actually get you back in the game.
Bro, what's going on? It's loaded here.
Pay attention to what you're saying in the ads, but also what you're saying in the landing pages. In fact, what I almost always recommend is that you have landing pages that are specific for Facebook ads. You have specific landing pages and funnels that are for Facebook ads because that allows you to kind of tweak the messaging, tweak the copy there, and you can actually get your ads approved versus having a landing page for other networks that might not be as policing as Facebook, or they might be a lot more policing than Facebook, or even for email marketing. If you're sending emails, you can send traffic to a much more quote-unquote
Bro, what is going on here?
aggressive landing page, but that's not going to work for Facebook ads. So that's the thing that you want to pay attention to. Number one is the ads themselves. What are you saying on the ads? What are you saying on your videos? What are you saying on the images? And number two are the landing pages themselves.
I think the landing pages are fine because it works for other stuff. So, and I don't think it's the I don't think it would be the text, right? Because there's all these other ones that have the same text. So, like, like, I wouldn't think it would be the text. That'd be crazy that it would be crazy to say it's the text when all my other ads are running, Yeah, that'd be crazy. So I'm just gonna reapply, and then whatever ones don't get passed, then I'll actually change them. If that makes sense. Let's go ahead and look. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So almost half of my ads were rejected. All right. Let's go back to the campaign level. Let's go in here and see if the ads in here are doing okay. Yeah, they're all active. Interesting how they're spending a lot of money and not getting that many conversions. Huh. Is that weird? Yeah, is this weird or what? Let's just, because we all know these are the same. Interesting how these are so low. Wait a second. Is this today? $0.87? Wait a second. 7 cents? $8, $4. This is... I'm not sure how I feel about this, because, I feel like there's something wrong there. Huh. Yeah, it should look more like this. I think I did launch this yesterday, so maybe it just got approved. Wait, where are the impressions? Okay. Yeah, this is weird. This is really weird. Is this what he was talking about? Like the Pixel just has a different landing it could start in, or something like that. Like, are you guys seeing that? I'm just gonna chalk it up to it just started, you know. Yeah, I really like this one. And this one's still like, do I turn this one off even though it's in that other category? Like, I don't want to turn it off. Do I turn it off? I think that's something that I have to ask. Because I think it's gonna suck up all the thing and not let the other ones go, you know? Also, I think I want to add what if it takes me 3 hours each day to make? Well, that's including the yeah, I think I need to make like at least 2 ads a day just to keep like the account kind of going. Yeah, but I really like this one right here. That's great. This is also great, but this is better, you know? I think this one's gonna do the best out of all of them. It just seems like it's hitting it running. Um, yeah. I wonder if you could see when it was active. Hmm. It's interesting how the audience advantage is the one that really started going when the Open US still is like trying to find its footing. But like, okay, here's the thing: why is it only spending so low? Let's go back. Let's take this off. Go to here. Go to here. It only spent $13. Oh, you know what? My account did stop because my credit card was like, "Whoa, it's making too many purchases. This doesn't look good." And so it stopped the ads. So it actually could be this. That's why it was only at 13. But I'm excited to see where this one goes. Um so let's go ahead, and I think I want to make two more another set of ads. Um just for the 29th, right? Also, how long do I run this for? He said actually, he did say once you get like 100, you get a good idea. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and do it by here. Okay. Can we do 2 at a time? No, we can't. Okay, so it starts right here. All right, so this one, cost per click, it isn't bad, and the CTR also isn't bad. So both of these are like above 3%. I like that. Cost per click, I mean, I'd prefer under $1, but it's not bad. And what, it spent $5? Oh my goodness, it spent $5. Really? What the fuck? What, it spent $5, so like this one looks pretty good. I definitely want to let it run a little bit more. um Yeah, I think this one's just eating up everything, these two. So I think I have to turn them off. Oh no. I'm scared to turn it off. It's working. Okay, wait, let me just watch the video just to make sure that it you know. Yeah. Oh no, guys. Oh no. GG, man. Also, I think we're close to getting top 10. We're at 17. That's pretty cool. We're 8 places away from hitting 10. I don't have those banger tweets like these guys, but hmm. Oh. Hmm. Okay. So it's more. All right, let's just really take a deep dive. Let's take a look. Take a deep dive. Take an introspection. Let's just start at the top. In this post, I shared that I'm using a new one-time course purchase function to pre-sell and then resell a first live online mentorship program. Then I co-created with existing students and program buyers, and then an evergreen course, basically replay value Volt. Hmm. I think I'll take a look at this one later. Bro, so real, so true. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's go back here. I want to rewatch the scaling course. Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this one.
Hands off. And so you want to really know something's a winner, because you also usually tend to set the CBOs at a higher budget too, because all your ad sets are being consolidated. So you might, then you pull it into an ABO
Your budget too. I mean, your budget broken out of like our discovery, like where we test everything. This is our 14th breakout, doing crazy numbers, showing off. And it's like, no, screw that. 0.5 is awesome. Scale it, because by next month you'll have a bigger budget. Those people will continue to pay you every month, and every month your ROAS will probably increase because you'll keep doing tests. It's just something to note.
Yeah, and you're learning faster. You're giving the algorithms more data. It's like there is a lot that that comes to that, and looking long term, looking at it over many months versus just this is one purchase. And so a good rate, and so we decided, yeah, this is a winner. Pulled it out, and we have it running in a different campaign already. But we're going back to kind of show you.
I don't want to kill this like
5 results at a $16 purchase.
Everything, but let's pull the one out.
Yeah, because you'll see. I mean, if you have 4 different, if you're running a back, look at this. And this is a perfect example. It's like that one spent $84, has 5 purchases, but Facebook's also wanting to spend a good rate, and so we decided, yeah, this is a winner. Pulled it out, and we have it running in a different campaign already. But we're going back to kind of show you. But I think that's important to note, because the slightest inkling that something can do well, you want to get it out of this phase, because this phase is kind of a means to an end. But you keep it going. You don't turn it off. You'll notice that we've spent almost $400 on this testing campaign, because it's. I mean, you'll see there that that's profitable. It's profitable.
We're looking at like our goal.
Oh wait.
Important to note, because the slightest inkling that something can do well, you want to get it out of this phase, because this phase is kind of a means to an end. But you keep it going. You don't turn it off. You'll notice that we've spent almost $400 on this testing campaign, because it's. I mean, you'll see there that that's profitable. It's profitable.
Oh, okay, great. I did not know that. That's good to know that you keep it on, because I was really gonna turn it off. I was about to turn it off. Because I thought that's what you do. You just take it out of there, turn it off, and bada bing, bada boom.
We're looking at like our goal is between 0.5 ROAS and like up. So like 1 means we're profitable month 1. Sometimes that happens, but a lot of times you're profitable. Like credit card statement is when you're profitable, which is another acceptable range for us. It's like if we retain 90% of our people and we're at a 0.5 or 0.6, we are going to be profitable before we have to pay that credit card payment on Facebook. It's like, so we're happy with that too. I think a lot of people, they think they're not doing good enough if they're running something at 0.5, 0.6, but it's like, no, you're doing good. If you retain your customers, if you can retain 80% of people, and your churn is lower than 20% even, like you're doing great. You're going to get most of these people paying for at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like a lot of months. So something to keep in mind is that you don't have to be net positive month 1. One of the reasons I think we are scaling faster and harder than anyone in the ads lab group right now is because of that fact. Like, I think people are afraid to scale smaller return on ad spend because they see people doing crazy numbers, showing off, and it's like, no, screw that. 0.5 is awesome. Scale it, because by next month you'll have a bigger budget. Those people will continue to pay you every month, and every month your ROAS will probably increase because you're.
Bro, I've literally watched. So, here's one thing. I've literally watched this video probably like 3 times, actually 4 times in a row. I watched it in the nighttime on. I think I watched it in the nighttime on sorry, give me a second. Yo, ads approved. Wait a second, I just got a notification. Actually, this is very helpful. Let's refresh this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one approved. Yeah, and it was going before. So I wonder why they stopped it. Yeah, I still don't know. I think, I don't know. This one may be good, but I'm still not sure. Just because of the low click-through rate and the high CPC, I think. Like also this one too. Like this one has 3, but low click-through rate, like kind of a high CPC. I think I like this one better than this one, but maybe this one and this one are good. But also, it makes everything $9. $9 because we spent 127. So, let's see. So let's just do the math. 127.44 Divided by what? How many people do we have? We got 14 people. Yeah, that's $15 per. I wonder why it says $9.10. Hmm. 127.44, right? 127.44. And we got 14 total. These results may not include all conversion data. Per completed. Actually, let's do it. Let's do 9.10. That means it got us 24 completed. That's not true. I don't know. We'll see. And it's just trying to improve these three, which I find that this one's approved is kind of funny. And also this one's approved is funny, but these two aren't approved. Actually, all of these are approved in one sense or another. Just, I don't know why, but it doesn't want to approve it for, I don't know. Don't even ask me. Oh, another one got approved. Let's double check. It did say something is approved, but I actually like having Google Meta Ads Manager on my phone here, because then I can see. All right, cool. But I like that. I like it a lot. Alrighty, let's go back here and yeah, this isn't too bad. So let's see, 140.89 divided by. I'm not gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at this. 15. Damn, that's $10 per person. That's not bad. So if I made my course 20, I would be profiting 10 each time, which is kind of cool. Just saying, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I think once I get to 50, I'll make the course 49, right? Yeah. And if I just scale that, like if I just keep on scaling that to like 200 people, even if it's at 49, 39, because that's the profit I'm gonna make. For 150, like if we had 200 people in total in the thing, that would be 5,850. Like that's pretty cool. Even if we just kept it at $39. But what I think is I should have it be 39 for that first course, and then after that bump it up to like you have to get to this other course, and this will be like more advanced, you know, and that's gonna be the $9.99 or the $4.99. $4.99 or $9.99? I don't know, but since they're coming from Facebook for free, or we could have this the free course, and then after that have the $3.99 in the next one. I think that's probably how it should go. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how it should go, you know? You know? All right. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'm just gonna let this do its thing, you know. I'm gonna hopefully have more ads accepted soon. And that's it. All right, we're just gonna leave it there. We're gonna go ahead and create. So actually, I want to rewatch this video because I just learned something new, and I still didn't get it. That's why I still haven't moved on. And I do need to keep on going to here because like it would be good to have like a retargeting strategy and stuff like that. But I definitely wanted to make sure I understood this because I was still kind of confused, and I think I kind of get it now. But then after that, presenting the test to the community, I did that. That's why I'm here. Setting up your audience, which that would be good. Doing this would be good. Yeah.
We'll keep doing tests. It's something to note.
Yeah, I mean, you're learning faster. You're giving the algorithms more data. It's like there is a lot that that comes to that, and looking long term, looking at it over many months versus just this is one purchase. And so that's kind of the philosophy we'll run in and go ahead. So this video won't be too terribly long. So like once you identify, okay, this is a good one, we want to pull this out. How I usually do this easiest is I'll click it, I'll go duplicate, new campaign, and I'll name this like Sal, which is School Ads Lab. Number 14, I think we just like Peyton. What's within it?
Yeah, I feel like you create these campaigns edited after.
In this ones have been done. And I usually get almost like your gift pocket. One,
And I remember
pockets,
that.
well, yeah.
Number
The
two.
amount of ad for ads.
yeah, off. At least do two.
It's a bit of an advanced like technique. It's kind of something that I've seen other media buyers do. Some people met you, Matt. I had never done that. And when you just have one ad, you basically just rely on whatever pocket worse than the one that just won, and your chances of finding a pocket going from the way that I used to looks like a lot better result when you do.
And of those three, two of them won't do good at all, and then one that just didn't do well.
Yeah.
But and I think it kind of makes sense when you think. But so here, I go in. I just quickly can click on this ad set. I'll go in and I'll change the budget. Usually, like the start date, it's always better to like if you can try to get it to start at midnight. If you want to give it the best chance, if you're in a hurry, and you want to get results quick, you can start it here in the middle of the day. But most of the time, it's going to do the best if you can start it right at midnight. And so, what we've been doing is this first, we'll just do an open US or broad open US. I go in here. We've been doing the Advantage Plus placements and double check
your budget too. I mean, your group price can continue to focus. Raise the chance even to your groups per dollars. Like I would say, to break something out, you should have the budget to at least.
Oh God. I don't know why it just hit me that if the daily budget would be 798. Oh. If I were to do the one
conversion on this,
bro,
you know, you might see kind of a lack of enough data to do something.
I was spending $1,000 a day on ads.
Even, like, I feel like I don't know about you, but it's like somewhere between like 1.5x.
That's kind of cool if I get to that point. Oh yeah, I spend $1,000 a day on ads. Oh. You spend $30,000 a month? Oh, wait. Oh my God. Yeah, if whew. Damn, that was intense to think about.
If not, then you might as well just kept in that testing campaign. If you're not going to spend.
Yeah.
Just like seeing my trajectory,
so
it's
if you're not wanting to do that one.
It's kind of scary, but also kind of cool to get to that level.
Splitting it out. And so this
and
is
free. If your group is free, like you probably don't need to be doing this yet. Also worth noting. Like when we were running a free group, we didn't start breaking things out for like a month. This go round. I mean, we really tested a lot. There's a lot you can do in that discovery testing phase before breaking something out. And we had to go through a lot of rounds of just like, okay, I'm trying another thing. And we actually did try to break some stuff out in that first month, but it didn't really work very well. And so we would start a breakout, wouldn't do very good, we'd turn it off. And that's okay. It's like an okay thing to try. You can always pull this out, set your budget if you've got a $20 group for 40, 50 bucks. And even after one day, even after 5 hours, if it's looking crappy, we would turn that off. If every single ad is doing much worse than your test, we would just turn it off. And almost took us like a month to just only be doing the testing in one single. We could have been doing that in one single campaign, but we weren't. But yeah,
it helps build confidence too in those testing. That month of just testing, I mean, because you do start as you are scaling up and you're using these bigger budgets. I mean, you can lose money quicker if you didn't test enough. If you haven't got to where you're comfortable identifying winners and have tested enough to be able to find winners, and then you just jump to this phase, you could lose. Like, there's a reason why we spent a month or so testing things out, because if you start getting a couple of these and they're not winners, you're gonna quickly blow through your budget quickly, and you're just gonna lose a lot of money. And so
but I will say that I think that there were times when you and I think something is a winner, and we'll dupe it out, and then we'll be like, oh, that's not a winner, you know. And that's an okay learning. Sometimes it's just a little bit of additional feedback. And the way I always think of like something didn't totally perform, it's like you're still getting your brand name like eyeballs. Like I never see something as a total loss. Like when you're serving impressions, you're getting new people. You'll be able to retarget these new people. You probably have qualified interest. That's not actually a winner. You're just still working back in white, and you didn't work. And it's like no, you knock over and over. You're gonna start people in retargeting. But campaign did bad that are here. It's just like
it's a complicated game, but I think by that stuff a little easier, and how it on those higher, for instance, higher than someone else's group that had people are impulsively targeting more and more.
Have a pretty low return on ad spend on everything but retargeting, and you might just be working up impressions so that you can have closest people, especially the story where like you and like look at your results for a while. Brilliant, I want this, you know. But if it's done, so to do CBOs, but you're building an ABO right now, which is, you know, why would you do that versus a CBO?
So I like the idea that ABO just gives you a little more control. And then you CBO, it's like if you know that into the early ABO to the C, come in here and set with that different and go here do now we have it'll kind of not work well, 20%, 20. That's just stuff off. You could be put a little more hands on. Whereas when you're doing a CBO, it's better just to have your ducks in lines. Like, you know, do pretty well, get up a little bit, each show themselves. And so it's just worked well. ABO is almost like a stepping stone to the CBO. They're very similar, but I think you just need more.
Yo, hello, what's going on? DZNRM. I really don't know how to say your name. Disnerm? That's terrible. I tried. You can't say I didn't try.
The CBO is and so
right now we're just learning. Honestly, this is probably the fourth time I played this video, this 30-minute video, just because it has so much information in it, and I still didn't really like understand. But I think this time I'm understanding. The first two times I was just like, okay, I was kind of like following along, but this time I think I actually understand.
So you want to really know something's a winner, because you also usually tend to set the CBOs at a higher budget too, because all like 3 or 4 ads, ABO budget, all that stuff figured. ABO is a little bit, that's why I like to use them. And that's how
there's an ABO. It's like we do an ABO for testing and videos and creatives. You do run a few audiences, and you're just like, once you think a creative is pretty solid, you're basically just testing audiences in this second phase, different audiences, different pockets. So you're basically like, let's just run this ad in a whole bunch of places and getting results. We found a winner. Now this is kind of the starting point for winners. This is where most people are going to be pulling out winners for a long notice. You want to scale that even more if you have more budget. That's where when you go into CBO. So
yeah, that's what we did too. So we did this, and then once we had some proven winners from this, we have, if we go back into our campaigns, we have a bunch of these ABO tests. Our first CBO right here, you'll see it's called 531 winners. It basically took the best performing ads out of all of these and then consolidated it into one. And so it took these maybe 6, 7, 8, 9. It took those 4 ABO tests that are all testing these different creatives to then find out, okay, these handful have proven themselves to be able to be consolidated. And now you'll see our CBOs at $250, which is significantly more than the budgets of these ABO tests that we're running. And and we've just kind of hands off. We've just been bumping this up 20% each day.
Yeah,
and because they're winners.
It has so much purchase data too. Like CPMs are lower. It becomes an affordable way to scale. And a lot of people start with the CBO, like in general, like before they even run any tests. And without winners, like Facebook picks random stuff. Like you just spend really bad money. You don't turn anything up. You don't know what's going on because you're like, oh, Facebook picked it. That must be the winner. And it's like, so no, we run a CBO because you know you got all these winners and you know those results are going to come in. We have a very satisfying like ROAS going on here for our account. We can bump that 20%. It seems to get better because it's getting more purchase data.
Okay, so it consolidates all of these ones. So add test 6, 7, 8, and 9.
And Facebook wants you to run less campaigns and have more things in less campaigns. We know this. We're constantly recommending this. And so this is when you can take advantage of that finally. But we'll talk about a CBO kind of on its own, I think, in a separate video, because this is, I feel like, more about that middle phase of your testing from your initial run of test into, okay, I think I have winners. This is what you do there. I think we should save sort of that CBO structure for another time.
Yeah, and like, if you want the 30-second way to do that, you're basically just taking the winners from the ABO. Do what?
Just click into it too,
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and discard those things that we just made
Okay.
to clean that up a little bit. And so if I go into here, here's our CBO. You'll see basically six different ad sets. It's like one is an open with one creative within it, and here's another one with a different creative in it, and then we have that in targeted to two different audiences, and then we have one audience which is basically all of the creatives in it, just to give kind of a different mixture. But there's really two winners in here that we're messing with, and it's a Devin Matt and then a review that we have, and yeah, you're basically just a handful of audiences. You're proving with the CBO. I mean, we'll make another video. Yeah, if you don't wait for that.
Super cool, man. That's going through winners. It's a little bit varied. Hopefully
Nice.
that was helpful to go through.
I think I got it.
Hey there, so I'm going to go through how to present your daily results. This can be in video form or it can be in image form. It's up to you. They are in order. Maximum date range. You don't want to exclude any days. Being able to see how things are trending with the data can be really helpful. Being able to see.
Okay. I also watched that one.
Hey everyone,
Pre-watched.
I'm going to talk a little bit about budgets and how to look at what your budgets are. I'm going to show you kind of what is going on with billing and how Facebook bills, how to check your budgets and check your spend. Sometimes Facebook will stop spending on something and it can be hard to track down the reason why. Usually if there's an issue, Facebook will spend nothing. It's not usually the case where Facebook can't spend the budget unless you've really constricted your audience size. So let me go into this. I'm looking at a couple of campaigns here. We have this ABO testing campaign, and I'm just going to go into ad sets here. I've got 2 ad sets. And so to see the budget, there's a few things you can do. You can go in here and click customize columns, and then you can search for budget and click budget and budget remaining as well. Click apply. So I've got the maximum time frame set right now. And so regardless of that, it's telling me my daily budget and it's telling me how much budget remains today. If I switch days, like if I go from today to yesterday, it's going to still say $5 daily, the budget remaining for today is this much, because it actually did spend my whole budget yesterday. So just know that this is always going to kind of give you information about today. So this is kind of what you can edit your budget for an ad set here. And this all assumes that you set up your campaign in a way that remains today. If I switch days, like if I go from today to yesterday, it's going to still say, and I'm just going to go into ads. Hard to track down the reason why. Usually if there's an issue, Facebook will spend nothing. It's not usually the case where Facebook can't spend the budget unless you've really constricted your audience size. So let me go into this. I'm looking at a couple of campaigns here. We have this ABO testing campaign,
Okay.
and I'm just going to go into ad sets here.
Okay. Assets.
I've got 2 ad sets.
Two
and
ad
so
sets.
to see the budget, there's a few things you can do. You can go in here and click customize columns, and then you can search for budget and click budget and budget remaining as well. Click apply. So
go to here. Custom columns. Then go to budget. Budget remaining. Okay.
I've got the maximum time frame set right now. And so regardless of that, it's telling me my daily budget and it's telling me how much budget remains today. If I switch days, like if I go from today to yesterday, it's going to still say $5 daily, the budget remaining for today is this much, because it actually did spend my whole budget yesterday. So just know that this is always going to kind of give you information about today. So this is kind of what you can edit your budget for an ad set here. And this all assumes that you set up your campaign in a way in which we're talking about ad set budgets. So this campaign, ABO testing that we're looking at, I'm currently looking at this ad set. If I go down here, I've got a daily budget set for $5. And if I go to my campaign, I could set my daily budget because I didn't set this Advantage campaign budget. If I were to turn this on, then there's kind of a campaign level budget. And so just something to understand about budgets are that they can be set at different levels for different accounts. And so I don't have any campaign level budgets running in this account right now, so I can't really show you what that looks like. But in your testing, which you're likely doing if you're kind of watching this video, you should be seeing budgets in this ad set level right here. Another thing I want to say about budgets is we try not to increase the budget by more than 20% if you're getting results, because it can reset this like learning phase that you're kind of delivering in a learning phase in a Facebook ad initially. And so when you're increasing your budget, try to increase it in 20% increments, even if you do like 5 of them back to back. So literally like 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, just increase it a little by little. And this kind of helps to not reset Facebook all the way back to the learning phase. The next part I want to show you is the actual billing section of Facebook. So I'll show you how to do that. So if you go to billing and payment on the sidebar here, just click. Takes you.
Okay.
You into the billing for your
Okay.
account. And you'll see here something that happens. What I want to show you is the actual billing section of Facebook. So I'll show you how to do that.
All right.
So if you go to billing and payment on the sidebar here, just click. Takes you into the billing for your account. And you'll see here something that happens with Facebook is when it starts billing an account, Actually, let me pause. So when you're looking at your billing, when you start spending, you'll notice that Facebook's going to bill you in these really small increments, but they get bigger over time as you gain trust with Facebook. And they basically, they kind of start you at a really low like amount of money that they'll bill you every time you hit this amount. Then as you spend more money, it'll become $10 and then 20 and then 100 and then 200, and you basically rack up a balance, and then Facebook bills you at a certain point. And so you can see right here, this particular GIF account is worked its way up to $7.70 amount. That's the new trigger. Every time we spend $7.70, Facebook will bill the card on file. So there's currently a $1.59 on here, and it will bill $1.
Give me a second.
It will bill 770 as soon as it hits 770. And so it is possible that you've spent money and you're racking up a balance and you haven't been billed for it yet. So if you're wondering about that, come and check here and see what your current balance is. It could be you have a $50 balance and you kind of have a current threshold of $100 or something like that. And that's kind of how that works. You really want to keep your payment method up to date and in good standing. Something that happens is if you fail billing payments, they'll actually drop your payment threshold to really annoying amounts for a while. And they may even set a daily limit. They won't let you pay. They won't basically let you run ads for more than some small amount of money until you regain trust. And it's sort of robotic. They kind of come up with this on the fly. And so just keep your payment method up to date. Now, if you are spending your budget here, I'm just looking at yesterday. If you have a $5 budget and you're noticing that the amount spent is
Oh, that makes so much sense. This makes so much sense. I'm looking at my thing right now. Um, So I'm looking at this right now, right? It's saying right here when you'll pay $24, right? And monthly billing date, right? Daily spend limit set by Meta, $50. Your projected spend today is within this limit, right? So I was wondering, because I think what he's saying is, I'm not seeing this page that he went to. So this is my spend limit. So even though I have $200 worth of like spend on the account, once it gets to 50, like it's just done. It's done. So that's actually really cool, because I was like, this is kind of weird. Even though I spent a $50 limit, it feels like I'm only getting $25 worth each day. Actually, sorry. Yeah, each of the campaigns had a $50 limit, and I felt like I was only getting $50 worth, and each campaign was spending 25. So I thought, oh, okay, the campaign set to 25, but it is a $50 limit. And that's what I thought. But no, they're actually both $50. All of them are $50. It's just my daily spend is 50, which that is very good to know. That is very good to know. I did not know that. That is cool. Let's go back here.
And so just keep your payment method up to date. Now, if you are spending your budget here, I'm just looking at yesterday. If you have a $5 budget and you're noticing that the amount spent is way off, say you have a $50 budget and the amount spent $5 or $10 or something.
Yeah, and that's mine right now. So right, where is it? So right here, amount spent is $13.45, and the budget is, I think, $100 for this right here. It's $50 per, so this is $100. So yeah, you know. So let's see what happens, or why that happens, or what needs to happen.
Then you do need to do a little bit of troubleshooting. If your budget was $5 and you spent $4.50 or $5.50, this is actually within a reasonable range of Facebook trying to spend your daily budget, and it will kind of fluctuate. It'll get close, but if it's way off, there are some things to look at. One thing to look at is over here. So if I go into my ad set.
Okay, if you go into the ad set. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. 94 cents. That's crazy.
And I look at my audience, and I look at my audience size. If you're running sort of an ad to a really small audience size, say you selected some interests and you did an interest stack. If your audience size is like 20,000 people.
All right, let's go. Let's look at our audience side. No, our audience size is pretty good.
100,000 people, then that could be why you're not spending. You really should have an audience size like between 5 and 20 million people at minimum. And so this is a case where Matt and I found some interests, and you could see the size of the interests we chose. But if we would have chose interests that don't have very big sizes exclusively, you can see how the estimated audience size on the side will start to shrink. And I just want to show you this. If you don't pick enough big audiences, your estimated audience size ends up being so small that Facebook can't find people to serve. And so I'm going to discard this. I don't want this to be this way. But one issue if you're not spending that you might want to look at is you might want to look at your audience size. Also,
now, my audience size,
high, that could also be due to your audience size being too small. Sometimes you actually do want to serve ads to a small audience. Also, I should mention this. It's just you just have to make sure you constrain your budget, because if your audience size is 13,000 people, you really can't spend more than $5 a day, $10 a day on that. Otherwise, it's going to either be really expensive or Facebook's not going to be able to find all those people. And so you just need to actually make your budget smaller. And so make sure you're looking at what is the audience. That could be a reason why you're not spending. Now, there are many other reasons that accounts get zero spend suddenly, like your account might get restricted. Facebook could sort of be like thinking you're doing something that is nefarious, and they might actually just stop letting you spend money. And you might not know what's going on right away, and then all of a sudden they'll tell you we're restricting your profile, in some way. But just sort of there's literally a really large list if you're spending zero, but you're trying to spend $50 a day. But if you're spending something, it's often the audience size. It could be due to the way that you're billing, or do you have any failed payments? These are the sort of things to look at. And so
I did have a failed payment, so it might be that.
if you have any other questions or concerns about budgeting, hit us up in the group or about spend, and let us know what's going on more specifically. Look at these areas and present us sort of screenshots of your budget and your amounts that's remaining. Go to a day that's not today and show us that there's a budget and an amount spent and an amount remaining. Show us that discrepancy. Show us your audience. There's really more information that we would need to help you if you're having this issue of not spending the budget that you're trying to spend. So hope that helps. Thanks.
Nice, it did help. All right, let's set up an audience.
All right, so I'm going to talk about audiences. Audiences are super key to utilize when you're scaling on Meta, Facebook, Instagram. It is a bit of a hotly debated topic. Once your pixel is mature enough, your broad targeting does work pretty well without the use of audiences. But in the beginning, it's really helpful. And some people actually continue to use lookalikes and they use audiences constantly. You'll probably want to use exclusions eventually, so audiences are important for that. And so we'll come into Ads Manager here and I'll show you audiences. To get there, you could just go to this Audiences tab if you're in Ads Manager. You can also always go to All Tools, and Audiences is the first shortcut. Over here's where you manage your ads in Ads Manager. Just pop over to Audiences from there. And so I'll walk you through. This is for the Ads Lab, and I'll kind of give you an idea as to what to create for your school community and what kind of options you'll have in the future and why you should do this. So first of all, if you're a free group, you'll want to create an audience for complete registration. If you're a paid group, you'll want to do purchase. If your group was free and becomes paid, you'll do both like we do. And so what is an audience? In this case, what is a complete registration audience? A complete registration audience is actually a Facebook list of anyone that has looked at your source page and completed the registration. This is actually for the break room. And so
am I doing a lookalike, or am I doing a custom audience?
Registration. If you're a paid group, you'll want to do purchase. I'll kind of give you an idea as to what to create for your school community and what kind of options you'll have in the future and why you should do this. So first of all, if you're a free group, you'll want to create an audience for complete.
Oh, that's a custom audience. Okay, create a custom audience.
Registration. If you're a paid group, you'll want to do purchase. If your group was free and becomes paid, you'll do both like we do. And so what is an audience? In this case, what is a complete registration audience? A complete registration audience is actually a Facebook list of anyone that has looked at your source page and completed the registration. This is actually for the break room, and so I'm going to make this for the Ads Lab. Since we switched our pixel source, we actually were kind of creating ads for one source. Now we're going to work on this other one. You basically choose your pixel, your source of information, and for this complete registration, the event actually reset because I switched sources. You can choose from the events that fire in your pixel. And so if you click complete registration, the maximum amount of days here is 180 days, and you could put different day views. Sometimes you might only want 30 or 7, even 1 if you really have scaled. But 180, using the maximum amount right here makes sense for us in the early phase. And so to make this complete registration event, you'll just kind of do complete registration. You don't have to put on school 180 days and then create audience. You can always go back and edit this later like I just did and click done, and you'll see here I've got complete registration 180. The same thing with page views from the Ads Lab in the last 180 days. Looks like I need to make sure I choose page views here. Click update. We switched from one pixel to another, and so some of our events here need to be updated. This one's correct. Purchase from the Ads Lab 180. That's right. And so you have these lists. These are considered custom audiences as far as an audience goes. When you create an audience, you can choose a custom audience or a lookalike audience. You can also choose a saved audience.
All right, let's do page views as well. $180. Okay, that looks like it's working. or like looks like I did it well. Page views on school, 180 days. Complete registration on school, 180 days. I followed exactly what he said right here.
But we'll just kind of start with custom. So when you create a custom audience for the first time, the way that you would do this is you'll go to your source, which is your website for school. You can do a customer list. We can do this later. I don't recommend starting with this. This is kind of like once you have a few hundred members, once you're a little bit more mature, and you need to look back beyond 180 days and you need a better match rate, you should upload a customer list. But for now, you can go to a website, and when you hit next, you'll be on that page that I showed you where you can actually target anyone that has had a page view, anyone that has completed registration or purchase. You can create a custom audience for this. I recommend you do all of those. You do 180 days. This is especially important in running different tests and trying different audiences in the beginning. And it's also super important when you're retargeting. So when you set up a retargeting campaign, eventually, you can exclude anyone that has purchased, which excludes anyone that's subscribed. It's important to note that this will not include anyone that signed up for your group before you installed the Metapixel. And so I see some people in the group, they installed the Metapixel once they had 50 members. Maybe it's because the Pixel wasn't out yet for the first 50 members of your group, or maybe it's because you just didn't do it for a while. But it's important to note that you're not excluding people that purchased or viewed your page before you installed your Metapixel. And for that reason, it can be useful to actually upload a customer list, and you can upload your emails and your names there. And that's something I suggest you do just to get a better match rate potentially. Anyways, especially if you have a large list and you haven't captured all those people, or if a lot of those people are outside your 180-day range right now, you may want to take the time to a Pixel. And registration or purchase, you can create a custom audience for this. I recommend you do all of those. You do 180 days. This is targeting campaign. Anyone we're not really up there, and the rate having captured all those people to initial kind of businesses. Cool. Or you can create lookalike audiences for one. You'll see here I have a naming convention for lookalike, and then I put PV for page view. Other capabilities that are cool are you can create lookalike audiences for one. You'll see here I have a naming convention for lookalike, and then I put PV for page view, and I put PUR for purchase. It makes it really easy for me. I've always done this. When you're selecting this audience in your campaign, you just search LAL space PUR, and I can see all my purchase lookalike audiences in a list, or all my page view audiences in a list. And so I'll show you how to make a lookalike audience, and I'll suggest to you what you should make. And so to create a lookalike audience, you can actually do this just going into this actions area, create a lookalike in the sidebar anywhere in here. You can also go in here and create a lookalike audience. And so the way that I suggest you start creating lookalike audiences is you're going to use these custom audiences as your source. And so Facebook is going to create an audience of people that look similar to your source. And so the first one that you should make is your page views. So you just type view and then switch to other sources. And
I'm just going to type view.
there it is, page views 180. There's no value attributed with page views. I'm just going to remove this suggestion because we'll talk about that in a bit. This is our lookalike source. You have to choose a country. I suggest you break each country out into its own audience. You don't have to do this. So you might want United States, Canada, you might want the UK, and you might want Australia, those types of things, Germany, France. These are the people that I see joining my group. Those are the countries I've noticed they're from initially. This may be different for you, but you can select multiple. If you want to select US and Canada and Australia, you can do that. I like to create one audience per country because later when you're testing, first you can add every single country separately into one single ad set. So you can achieve basically what you can achieve by creating one super audience lookalike after the fact. But what you can't do if you add them all is you can't like exclude France later because France isn't really getting you any subscribers. You can actually hone in on like what are the best converting countries for you. And so creating a US, creating a Canada. And so for one, I'm going to start with US. And if you look down here, the number of lookalike audiences that you're creating is going to be anywhere between 1 and 6. And the more that you create, the more of these audiences that you'll have. And this percentage part is something to understand. I like to create 3, by the way, for the United States. You'll notice that 1% lookalike consists of people most similar to your audience source. Increasing the percentage creates a bigger, broader audience. And so you can drag these around. You can actually see this audience gets bigger the higher I drag this up. 17 million. You go all the way to 10%, and it's really big. It's 22 million people. When you're running ad campaigns, this number of people in your ad set is kind of it kind of varies as to what to shoot for depending on what your goal is. But in general, you kind of want at least 5 to 10 million people in an ad set for it to be a decent price. Once it starts to be too small, like say I'm running a test. If I was only targeting 2 million people, my CPMs might be kind of high. It might be like 60, 100, 200 bucks. It might be kind of high because you're narrowing your audience. And so the way that I tend to do this is I like to create enough lookalikes to kind of make sure that these total between 5 and 10 million. And I usually make sure to have at least 3. And I will always use, I'll always do a 1%, which is this one. I'll always do a 1 to 2%, which is this one. And I'll always do the like 2% one here as well. You'll see this 5% one. Yeah. So this is, you can kind of see there's 3 here from 0 to, sorry, I'm getting confused here because it's always confusing to me to get on here, but there's basically 3 lookalikes and these sliders are the range between each one. That's kind of what you should know. And you really want, these lower ones are the closest looking people to your audience. So you want to create these low percentages, but I like to kind of raise it up and do a 5 in here as well. And so if you hit create, which I'm not going to do because I already did this, it'll create 3 audiences just like this. The naming will be a little bit different. And you will kind of have to click into each one and you can click edit after you created it. And then you can edit the name here. I just did a page view audience. And so it'll look more like this. So when I edit it, it'll say lookalike this, and then it'll say page view 180 all spelled out. And then I like to kind of just copy this beginning, delete everything at the end. I know this is kind of hard to follow because I'm not actually doing it. I've already done it, but you should be able to match sort of what you're seeing here for me. And so go in there and create 3 lookalikes for the US. because I'm not actually doing it every time. You have to say lookalike, and so it'll look. You can edit the name here. I just did a page view audience, and so it'll look more like this when I edit it. It'll
So I go lookalike, paid view, 180.
say lookalike this, and then it'll say page view 180 all spelled out. And then I like to kind of just copy this beginning, delete everything at the end. I know this is kind of hard to follow because I'm not actually doing it every time, but you should be able to match sort of what you're seeing here for me. And so go in there and create 3 lookalikes for the US for your target markets. And let me
Okay, I think 1%, 1 to 2%. So 1%, 1 to 2%, 2 to 5%. 1%, 1 to 2%, 2 to 5%. Okay. All right, I think that's good.
show you kind of what to do if you're dealing with a small market. So if you're dealing with like, if you're dealing with the United Kingdom, and let's go to views again, and create 3 audiences. You can see here, these are pretty small audiences. It's not going to get me where I want. And so what I might do is I might create a 4th and bring it all the way up. To get a big audience. Now we're looking at around 5 million people. So this is enough for me to feel like, oh, I could run just a UK ad set, stack all these in there, and we'll have enough people. I'd create 4 for the UK just because this reach. It's not super critical. You hit 5 million for everyone. If I create 4 audiences and I don't have 5 million people, I'm probably not going to create 5. I probably will just leave it at 4. If it's between 3 and 5 million, that's okay. And so creating all of these page view audiences is something I did because I don't yet have enough signups to create a purchase lookalike audience with a value added. I'll show you this. So we just did page view audience, but if you go in here and you create a purchase audience, it does say get better results with a value-based lookalike audience. And I'll switch to a value-based lookalike audience because this is true. This is something that I definitely recommend you do. But I'll show you how you can't really do this for a while because you need at least 100 of these conversions in the country that you're creating that. So for instance, the United States here, if I try to create a United States website event, which passes the value of your group all the way like across, it should say I've got 20 unique customers here that do this. If I add Canada, let's see if it adds, let's see Canada. Yeah, that's total. That's total. The total amount of events that I have that have a high value pass. And so if I try to add these countries and create the audience, you'll see I get this error, which is that it needs to include at least 100 people in the same country in your audience location. Please choose a different audience. And so for me, I don't have this yet. We have like 50 paying members now. So there's no country that's going to have 100 people that have converted. And so when you don't have this, you have to create a purchase lookalike without the actual value data. And that's basically doing the same thing as we did for our views audience, but you'll ignore this. And so you'll just continue on without knowing the value. And that means that you're going to maximize the number of conversions whenever you create a campaign because you can't maximize the value if it doesn't know the value of your people. This is a really helpful lookalike audience to test. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bunch of these lookalikes for my purchase events in my other countries now. And so I need to do Germany. So I'll go in here. I'll find Germany, see what we have at 3.
Well, I don't have any purchase events at all. Yo, hello. I don't see what your name is, but Arjun G, what's up? What's going on? Sorry if I haven't seen you. I was just learning, learning. But yeah, I don't have any purchases yet, so I can't do like a purchase lookalike, which makes sense. But yeah, cool. We're gonna keep learning.
We need to go 4. That will do, and I'll create this audience. It's going to create 4 audiences at the top of the page here, and I'm going to click on the first one and edit the name. I'd like to do LAL per 180, and then I'm going to copy all of that for later. Delete this. I'm going to write germ and just hit save. And now we're going to do the same thing here. Click it, edit this, go there, and delete that. This really does, it seems like a lot of work to do to create all these lists to do all this, but you'll probably be creating lookalikes or adding lookalikes to your campaigns for a long time. And so this process, you do it once, and then you've got lookalikes to test in your campaigns forever. Oh, I shouldn't be talking while I'm trying to do this. Paste, lookalike purchase 180, save. Okay, so I just renamed those. I forgot to add germ and all of these. I changed this country code to something that any person on my team would know, because we aren't all familiar with what DE means, but Germany, we understand. That's why we put Australia here and UK here, even though those have different country codes when I created them. And so now looking here, you'll also notice I added this little piece of text to the description. This is to remind me that these are not value-based purchase events like I showed you before. Because later, once we have a lot of members, if I can add a value-based purchase lookalike, it'll probably perform better. And so I probably will do that. And so I'm going to remind myself in these as well that these are not value-based. I could probably create a shorter purchase. Literally could probably make it a lot shorter. It'd be easier to look at this page. All right, cool. 2.5. All right, so that's how I create lookalikes, purchase-based lookalike audiences, view-based lookalike audiences, and that's how you create your custom audiences. And so I'll take you into an ad, and I'll show you kind of what to do to use these audiences in an ad set, because you'll want to test a stack of these lookalike audiences, or just even one lookalike audience. You'll want to test this when you're trying out new creatives. So let me open another page and show you that.
Okay.
All right, so I'm in this campaign for the Ads Lab here, and I only have one ad set right now, and it's a retargeting ad set, and it retargets people that viewed my page, and it excludes people that have purchased. And I'll show you what I did to achieve this. If you go down to audience, you have to make sure you switch away from your advantage audience and use the original audience, and you'll get all these prompts. Facebook tries to keep you into the new style of audience, and you'll go into this custom audience section, and you'll include.
Okay, gotcha. So that's what the page view is important. So it'll say include page view, exclude complete registration. Nice.
People that viewed your page, and you'll exclude people that you captured in either the free part or the purchase. We had both free signups and purchase signups, and that's it. This is a retargeting campaign. It's only running at $1 a day because this is going to be a small group of people. And so I'll show you how to add an interstack audience. You'll more likely do this in your testing campaign, when you're testing creatives. This is my retargeting campaign here, but we will quickly duplicate, and I'll show you kind of how to use those lookalikes and what I do when I'm doing a creative test. So, you know, like in our original creative test, when you first set up your first campaign, you ran a broad audience, most likely. Maybe you did an interstack as well. Now you could dupe out one of those, like I just duped this ad set out, and you could create a lookalike audience. You could use just one single lookalike, or you could use a stack of lookalikes. And there's different things to try for different accounts, but I'll show you how to do that here. And so first we'll get rid of these other audiences here, and we're going to go into include for custom audiences, and we're just going to type LAL because all my lookalikes are LAL. You can also switch over here if you want. Now let's just do a purchases lookalike here. What we could do is we could do the US only. We could just do a US stack. So I'll go US 1, US 1 to 2, US 2 to 5. So now we got 3 people, with 3 actual audiences in here stacked together. You can see my audience size is about 10 million people. That's good. And so I would call this LAL stack, and then I do US 1 to, I'll just do like US basically. I don't usually put the actual percentages and the naming here. This is a lookalike stack for the US. Another thing you could test, just depends on your budget, honestly. This is the one I would always test though, just the stack of country, all of them. So LAL stack, we could do the same thing for Germany if we wanted to here. You could do an all as well, where you actually do all of your lookalikes. It'll be bigger, but you could do an all. Before that, I'd actually probably do a 1% lookalike stack across all countries. This is an interesting one to test. You'll just kind of get rid of these other ones here, and you'll search for 1%, and you can actually grab any 1% purchase here. Actually, go to purchase. I just have the US and Germany right now, but if I had Australia, this is your closest to looking like your current purchasers as Facebook can find. So this is often a really good one. And you know, you kind of need to do all the countries because you're gonna need to get your audience size up a little bit more. So add Australia, add Canada. If that's not enough, add France. So you can kind of try to look through your member list, look through the countries that your members are in, add that country as an audience, stack them up here. And so now we got a lookalike stack 1%. And then I do want to note, like, I like to note the countries that I'm testing if there's multiple, because out of view here, you'll see that you have US, you might have a Germany, and you have one that's combined. This is helpful to do. And so this is kind of how to use lookalike stacks in your tests. And Matt and I, for our creative tests, we tend to do a broad audience, an interstack audience, and one lookalike stack when you're first setting up your early stage tests. And if you can only pick one lookalike stack, it's going to be the 1% all countries. And
When he usually does a thing, he does a broad audience.
And this is helpful to do. And so this is kind of how to use lookalike stacks in your tests. And Matt and I, for our creative tests, we tend to do a broad audience, an interstack audience, and
a broad audience, an intro stack audience.
And Matt and I, for our creative tests, we tend to do a broad audience, an interstack audience, and one lookalike stack when you're
intro stack. What is an intro stack?
In your tests. And Matt and I, for our creative tests, we tend to do a broad audience, an interstack audience, and one lookalike stack.
Interest stack? Probably interest stack. Like trying to find what interests they are.
when you're first setting up your early stage tests. And if you can only pick one lookalike stack, it's going to be the 1% all countries. And then once you start to notice maybe one country standing out, you may want to isolate that country in another test, and you'll be able to compare your big country list to just, oh, what about just the one best country list? Compare the two running simultaneously. And if you have questions about this, ask us questions inside of the ads lab. I know that audiences can be like a big topic. There's all kinds of ways to test audiences. I mean, this gets really sophisticated. People start to filter by maybe your highest value or your longest running customers, and you exclude customers that churn. And there's a lot of ways to get creative with your audiences and your lists and your stacks, but try to keep it simple to start. Don't get too overwhelmed with this. Do these stacks. Do a US stack if you have a lot of US members. Do an Australia stack if you have a lot of Australian members. If you're early and you don't know, do a 1% stack of all the countries that you have currently in your member list. These are kind of ways to just get testing. Another thing to note is that as your pixel just gets more data, Facebook is going to get better at finding the best people in your broader lookalikes. You'll have a lookalike with US people in it, Germany, Australia, and Facebook might only show the US portion of that because they know that's working the best. And so you kind of make the stack to beef up your audience size, but Facebook kind of realizes like this one's doing the best, and then it might actually just serve a lot of this one. And even if you have 5 lookalikes in here stacked, the one that's doing the best might be the one that Facebook serves. Kind of like how you see that on the ad level. You see like, oh, this one ad is getting all the spend, this other one's not. Same thing kind of happens with lookalikes. And so you create the stack to give the algorithm the best chance of finding one of these that works better. And for some reason, like sometimes the bigger, higher percentages work better, which is why I do suggest you try this lookalike stack where you have a wider range of percentages, because for some reason, sometimes that higher percentage will do better than the lower percentage. So it's not just better because it's 1%. I found that I've actually tested in my account like just at 1%, and then just at 2 to 5, and then just at 10, and I've gotten different results, like surprisingly, that I wouldn't have expected. And so that is audiences, lookalike stacks, custom audiences. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Thanks.
Nice. Oh, that was on Loom. I think his other ones are on YouTube, right? No, all of his are on Loom. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna save my retargeting strategy and my metrics for later, and I'm just gonna go ahead and stream right here. I think that's pretty good. I liked what I learned today. And I'll try to come back later trying to remember, you know, that setting up that lookalike audience. And also I don't want to get into that like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do a lookalike and then also do a retargeting strategy when I'm too close, if that makes sense. Like I just pulled out some winners, so I just don't want to like flood my account with like, you know, trying to spend money. Like I'm okay taking it slow, so I might save these ones actually for like maybe next week, you know. And just try to test, you know, just try to really keep on, oh, okay, how does this broad audience do? How does this one do? Okay, I'm going to practice pulling out some winners, you know. And then also, like, turning up and turning down. Like, I haven't done that yet at all on any of them. And that's something that I need to do, because I'm still kind of like, I'm going to go back to the fundamentals and go to... go to one of these, which I forgot which one it is, but yeah, but maybe it's in this one.